Hello, everyone. My name is Isabella, and today I'm sharing a case study titled AI Anchors in the Newsroom: Navigating Ethical Boundaries in Broadcast Journalism. This project explores the ethical implications of using artificial intelligence in journalism. Specifically, I'll walk you through a case involving MBN, a major Korean broadcasting network that introduced an AI generated news anchor modeled after a real journalist. This innovation began in 2020 and is still part of their broadcasting strategy in 2025. It raises important ethical questions that we all need to consider as communicators in a digital world. Let's begin with a simple idea. Imagine tuning in to the nightly news and watching what looks like a regular human anchor reporting the latest stories. Later, you find out that the anchor isn't a person at all. It's an AI generated to look and sound exactly like one. That's what happened when MBN launched South Korea's first AI anchor in late 2020. The project was developed using deep learning and visual modeling to replicate Kim Joo-ha, one of their best-known journalists. As of 2025, the AI anchor is still active and MBN continues to advance AI across its operations. While the technology impresses some, it also stirred significant ethical concerns. Today, I'll walk you through those issues, examining them using ethics theories, and evaluate the choices MBN made. In the picture on the left is the real news anchor, and on the right is the AI model replicated after her. MBN, or Male Broadcasting Network, is a leading media organization in South Korea. In November 2020, they introduced an AI powered virtual anchor based on Kim Joo-ha, a trusted figure in Korean journalism. The AI was trained on hours of footage replicating her voice, facial expressions, and mannerisms to a remarkable degree. The goal was to improve efficiency, speed, and accessibility in news delivery. But what made this innovation controversial was during its early use, MBN did not clearly disclose to viewers that the anchor was not real. By 2025, the AI system will remain part of MBN's technological ecosystem. However, the ethical questions that surfaced in 2020 are still unresolved in many ways. The picture on the slide is the AI anchor of Kim Joo-ha. This situation raises two central ethical dilemmas. First, transparency and deception. Viewers were not immediately informed that they were watching an AI instead of a human anchor. This lack of disclosure is problematic because journalism depends on trust and honesty. Audiences expect that people delivering the news are authentic and accountable. Second, there is the issue of job displacement and the erosion of the human element in journalism. If newsrooms replace anchors with AI, what happens to real journalists? Are we sacrificing essential human values for the sake of efficiency? These dilemmas highlight the tension between innovation and ethical responsibility in modern communication. In the image on the right, I asked the audience to identify which faces were real and which were AI generated. This is actually a trick question. All of the faces are AI generated, and while I can't speak for you guys, I completely fell for it myself, which shows how realistic and convincing this constantly evolving technology has truly become. The bottom middle one is one that really stumped me. I don't know about you guys. To analyze the case, let's apply deontological ethics. This theory focuses on moral duties and rules. It argues that certain actions are right or wrong based on principle, not outcomes. In journalism, One of the core duties is to inform the public truthfully and clearly. MBN had a responsibility to disclose the use of AI anchors to their audience. By choosing not to be transparent at the beginning, they failed to uphold this duty. Even if the content was accurate and professionally delivered, the act of withholding the truth about the anchor's identity violated journalistic ethics from a duty based perspective. So, on the slide, I have a picture, or I guess a painting, of Immanuel Kant, and the quote that I associated with this situation is, "If the truth shall kill them, let them die." And this was a quote that I liked. Now, let's consider the utilitarian view. This theory evaluates actions based on their consequences. A decision is considered ethical if it brings the greatest benefit to the greatest number of people. Supporters of MBN's move might argue that using AI anchors offers many benefits: lower production costs, faster news delivery, and scalability for multilingual broadcasting. But the potential harms are significant. These include decreased trust in the media, the loss of human jobs, and the risk of setting a precedent for more deceptive uses of AI. If the negative outcomes outweigh the benefits in the long run, then the utilitarian perspective would view MBN's decision as unethical. And on the screen, I just made a graphic of the pros and cons. And as I briefly mentioned, the cons would be lost jobs and broken trust, and the pros would be money and efficiency. So, what exactly did MBN do? They introduced the AI anchor without clear immediate disclosure to viewers. While press statements were issued, viewers watching the broadcast may not have known they were seeing a synthetic figure. From a deontological perspective, this was unethical because it failed to honor the audience's right to know. From a utilitarian standpoint, the choice to prioritize innovation over full transparency may have led to more harm than good. Public trust, once lost, is difficult to regain, and that erosion of credibility can impact the entire organization negatively. MBN had several more ethical options. They could have displayed an on screen label clearly indicating when the AI anchor was being used. That simple disclosure would have respected audience awareness. They also could have limited the AI anchor to less sensitive segments such as weather or entertainment news, while keeping real journalists for hard news. Another option was to launch a public education campaign, explaining the technology and inviting dialogue with viewers. Each of these options would have promoted transparency and allowed MBN to explore innovation without violating core ethical values. These alternatives better align with the deontological and utilitarian ethics. Full disclosure honors the duty of truthfulness. Limiting AI to specific roles minimizes harm to journalists and avoids audience confusion. Public engagement allows the organization to build trust and educate its viewers, making them partners in technological progress rather than passive recipients. These ethical alignments show that MBN could have innovated responsibility without undermining their core values. Let's think about the possible outcomes. If MBN had disclosed the AI anchor from the beginning, they might have faced initial skepticism, but they likely would have maintained trust with most of their audience. If they had limited the AI's role, they could have protected jobs while still showcasing innovation. Ignoring these steps, as they largely did, created confusion, backlash, and scandal. While some viewers admired the AI's realism and innovation and futuristic te- futuristic technology, others felt deceived. This mixed response illustrates the importance of ethical foresight in communication decisions. In my view, MBN did not make the most ethical choice. They prioritized innovation over transparency, which eroded trust and potentially harmed their credibility. If I were in charge or could have helped them do something differently, I would have prioritized clear disclosure and launched public dialogue around the use of AI. Ethical journalism is about more than just delivering information. It's about building and maintaining public trust. As we move further into the age of artificial intelligence, media organizations must lead by example in how they utilize these tools. The goal should always be to enhance, not replace, the human values that define ethical communication. Here are two questions for us to think about. My first question: what ethical responsibilities do news organizations have when integrating AI into their content? The second question I have is, how should viewers be informed about AI generating content in a clear and AI generated content in a way that's clear and respectful, and without undermining the effectiveness of the technology? Here are my research references that I use throughout the script and outline and pictures. And here are my photo credits. I really enjoyed researching this topic. It was fascinating to explore how ethics played out in such a modern and evolving space. Thanks to everyone in Ethics for Professionals for making this class interesting and thought provoking. I'm excited to hear your responses to my discussion questions. And as always, go Cougs.